recall telling the investigators that you followed closely behind this vehicle for a period of time in the left lane?
Yes, I followed enough to see the license plate of the vehicle.
Okay. Do you recall telling an investigator that you remember thinking to yourself, oh, a fellow Spartan, why isn't he getting over?
I remember saying, and I said it earlier today, that he's a Spartan, I'm a Spartan, he wouldn't mind if I went around him, was my thought.
Okay. I remember that from direct examination, and this triggers a familiar memory from what you were thinking around that time.
Yes.
Do you recall telling a detective and talking to you that after coming upon a slower moving vehicle in the fast lane, you stated that you followed the vehicle for a period of time, you were asked how long, and you indicated at least a minute or two?
Yes, that sounds right.
Okay, and so to summarize what happened, is it fair to say that you came up on the fast lane to a slower moving vehicle and you stayed behind that vehicle in the fast lane for a minute or two before deciding to change lanes to the center lane and pass on the right?
I would agree to that.
And that same activity of driving behind the slower moving vehicle, where you stood behind it for maybe 1 or 2 minutes, you characterized in another statement you made as tailgating, correct?
I did.
Do you recall, with regard to this idea of tailgating, not that you're on trial, you're not, but regarding the issue of tailgating, that at some point you told an investigator that you told the officer, I was tailgating the Malibu, and you can give me a ticket for that if you want?
I didn't know at the time if I was going to get a ticket for this incident or not. I was just telling them the truth, that I'm a fast driver.
Well, there's no question that you were the victim of having your car struck by a bullet, and you were reporting that as you should have.
Yeah.
And in the context of having a conversation about it, you did share with the investigator that you knew you were tailgating and used that word.
I don't recall using that word in that situation. I remember asking would I get a ticket because I was passing on the right. That's what I was referring to.
You don't recall telling the officer that you were tailgating the Malibu and stating, quote, you can give me a ticket for that if you want, end quote?
No.
But you do recall stating that you were behind this vehicle for 1 or 2 minutes before you changed lanes?
Yes.
All right. This vehicle that you were passing, you begin to pass, you hear a loud noise that hurts your ears, and you acted accordingly. Did you see this vehicle attempt to follow you?
No.
Did you notice that the vehicle slowed down and got behind you to engage in some further confrontation?
No, I myself slowed down because I didn't know what had happened to me.
You focused on taking care of yourself and
Yep.
looking out for yourself, and so far as you know, that vehicle was long gone.
Yeah.
And that was the last you ever saw of it?
And yes, until the police station.
Until seeing the vehicle at the police station?
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Court's permission. Anything else, Mr. Townsend? I have a few questions with court's permission. Go ahead. Just a follow-up questions. Okay. We were behind the vehicle, this vehicle. You were able to see the license plate.
Yes.
So So you weren't close enough anymore, bumper to back bumper, you couldn't visualize it.
Correct.
You told counsel that you slowed down because you were unaware of what may have happened to your car. Is that correct?
Yes.
Tell me about it. What did you think?
As I said earlier, I heard a noise and I smelled a burning smell, so I slowed down because I was scared, and I looked around all my windows to see if any windows were broken or shattered. I felt my steering wheel to make sure I couldn't feel a rumbling tire or something like that, so that's why I slowed down, just to check my own surroundings.
And if you were passing this car, would it be fair to say that you were unaware that he had a gun out?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say you were unaware that he was shooting out his car?
Yes.
Can you put up exhibit? I want to show you something. This is your car. You have right here. See that portion of the window?
Yes.
It's on the driver's side. And maybe you can see the door handle there?
I don't see it, but I know that it's there.
The bullet hole right there?
Yes, I can see the bullet hole, but not the handle.
Okay, you see the bullet holes right there.
Yes.
Keeping in mind that where the bullet hole is. And then I want to put a Z. You see right here where the indentation, that's that indentation, can you see that indentation there?
Yes.
So on this side, you have the indentation there and bar in the window there, is that correct?
Yes.
Based upon those two photographs, you know if this indentation was closer to the front door than on the other side?
Yes, it is closer.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no further questions.
Nothing more.
Okay. You can go ahead and sit down, Mr. Kubiak. You are excused. Thank you. Also approach, please. You can call your next witness.
We would call Todd now.
Mr. Nelson, if you could come up to the witness stand off to my left-hand side. Once you're there, if you could remain standing and raise your right hand to take an oath.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give in the matter before the court who will be the truth, the whole truth, and in nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
Go ahead and have a seat. Make yourself comfortable, sir. You could tell me your name and spell your last name for the record, please.
My name is Todd Nelson, Nelson.
Mr. Malkoff?
Yes, sir.
There's still this statement up here, if you could retrieve that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, counsel.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
Can you tell a jury where you work
I work at Nelson Collision in Fowlerville, Michigan.
and what do you do there?
I'm an auto body collision technician. I repair wrecked vehicles and I do light minor mechanical work there also.
All right. Let me refer you back to, and you know why you're here.
Yes.
Okay. I want to refer you back to October 18th of 2012 in the afternoon sometime.
Yep.
Did there come a time that you got a call or came in contact with a vehicle that had a bullet in it?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Can you tell the jury about that?
I believe it was after lunchtime, I think sometime. It was my brother who owns the shop. I work for him. He had drove the car around with one of the deputies or the sheriff, the officers in charge there. And
Remember the detective's name that came out with
I think it was Dorsey. I think so. I'm not too sure on it, but drove the car around because they had they suspected a bullet in a door panel, and they couldn't get the inner door trim panel removed, and it was on a white Cadillac car, and Cadillacs are a little bit different to get the inner door trim panels off, so I've got 26 years experience in the automobile industry like that, so I took the inner door trim panel off and got a flashlight, and we were able to see a bullet inside the door shell.
And you recall what door that was?
That would be the right rear door.
And were you able to see you saw the bullet?
Yes, I saw a bullet, yes.
What you do after you saw the bullet?
I believe he took a couple of pictures of it, and I put a rubber glove on and extracted it from the door shell and gave it to the officer.
Do you recall the name of the owner of the vehicle?
No, no,
If you would have heard, if you hear the name, would you recognize it?
no, no, no.
Recall whether it was Detective Dorsey or Detective Mark King that you gave it to?
I don't know for sure who that was.
Was a member of the Livingston County
That is
Sheriff's
correct,
Department?
yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so how long was the vehicle there?
Approximately 15 minutes, 20 minutes. You know, by the time I took the door panel off, he took his pictures, and then I put the inner door trim panel back on for whoever owned the vehicle, so.
All right. And you handed that over to the Sheriff's Department?
Pardon me?
Then you handed it over to the Sheriff's Department?
Yeah, he was right there. The officer was right there with me.
Other further?
Any cross-examination?
No questions.
You can go ahead and step down. You are excused.
All set? Thank you.
You can call your next witness.
Call Detective Mark King.
Counsel, if you could go ahead and come on up again while we're waiting for the next witness. Sorry for the interruption. You can call your next witness.
Detective
Mark King.
Yeah, Franklin.
Detective King, if you could come up to the witness chair, it's off to my left-hand side. Probably been there before sometime. If you could raise your right hand and take note, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give in the matter before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Go ahead, have a seat, make yourself comfortable. And if you could tell me your name and spell your last name for the record, please.
It's Mark, M-A-R-C, and last name's King, K-I-N-G.
Afternoon. Go ahead, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, can you tell the jury how you're currently employed?
I'm a detective with the Livingston County Sheriff's Department.
And how long have you been a detective with the Sheriff's Department in Livingston County?
Well, I've been at the Sheriff's Department for 14 years, detective for 6 plus.
What are your duties and responsibilities as a detective with the Sheriff's Department?
Well, at the Sheriff's Department, I'm assigned cases and I investigate those cases.
I want to direct your attention back to last year, October 12th of 2012, okay, sometime in the afternoon, 2:30, between 2:30 and 3, something like that. Did you have an opportunity, based on something, to come in contact with an individual known to you as Jennifer Kupiak?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell the jury about that?
Well, I was asked to assist a deputy to investigate an incident that took place on the expressway. It was a vehicle that had been shot at, so I was asked to come out and process or look at the vehicle for evidence.
Did you do so?
Yes, I did.
Where?
It was at the Sheriff's Department.
Livingston County?
Yes, sir.
Sheriff's
Yep.
Department? Exactly where is that located?
It's 150 South Highlander Way in Howell.
A little bit down from here.
Yes, sir.
All right, so do you recall the individual who owned the vehicle?
Yes, I do.
Jennifer?
Yes, it was.
What type of vehicle was it?
Put me on the spot here. I don't recall. Sorry.
That's all
I
right.
believe it was a Cadillac. I believe.
All right, so you go out there, tell the jury what you did when you get out there, take a look at the Cadillac.
Basically, I just took a look at the vehicle itself. Basically, looked at the entry point of what we believe was a bullet, and actually where it ended up, and took some pictures of that and the damage that was incurred to the vehicle.
Did there come a point in time that this vehicle was taken to another establishment?
Yes, there was.
Can you tell the jury about that?
Yeah, I drove the vehicle actually from the Sheriff's Department to Nelson's Towing in Fowlerville
For what purpose?
to extract the bullet from the vehicle.
Were you there at the time the bullet was extracted?
Yes, I was, sir.
Who extracted the bullet?
That would be Todd Nelson.
And did you ultimately end up with the bullet?
Yes, once it was extracted, he gave it to me. Yes.
Your Honor, I think at this point in time, I think the counsel will agree that Exhibit 1, that is in all the exhibit books, is a chain of evidence that has been entered into evidence that in fact that this bullet, which we have marked as People's 31, which is the actual bullet that goes to a crime lab report in section 31, is the bullet that was extracted from Jennifer Kupiak's vehicle.
Any response?
Is that correct, counsel?
We have made the stipulation, Judge, and Exhibit 1 applies here.
So noted. It is an exhibit. It has been admitted. It is evidence.
May I publish it to the jury?
You may.
After you obtained the bullet, what did you do with it?
I took it back to the Sheriff's Department and secured it in a property locker.
Then after that point, it was eventually transferred to the Oakland County Sheriff's Office Crime Laboratory?
Yeah, the next day.
I have no further questions.
Cross-examination.
None.
You can sit down. You are excused.
Thanks, sir.
Senator, with the court's permission, may I put the diagram back up? Do you mind?
Go ahead, are you going to use it for this next witness? And your next witness is? Ms. Meyer, good afternoon. If you could come up to the witness stand off my left-hand side right here. And if you could raise your right hand, take it up.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give in the matter before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Go ahead and have a seat. Make yourself comfortable. And if you could tell me your name and spell your last name for the record, please.
Crystal Meyer, M-E-Y-E-R.
Thank you. Ms. Meyer, would you like any water?
No, thank you.
See, they never think it's important to see the judge. They just want people to see the witness. Doesn't bother me.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Go ahead, counsel.
Good afternoon, Ms. Meyer. You have a yellow Camaro.
Yes.
What year is that Camaro?
2011?
And did you own that Camaro in October of 2012?
Yes.
Were you, well, first of all, do you live in White Lake?
Yes.
Okay, and have you been in Wixom in October of 2012?
Yes.
Okay, on October 16th, were you there?
Yes.
Okay, what were you doing there that day?
I was driving home from work.
So do you work in Wixom?
I work in Lyon Township.
And that's the route that you take to go back to
Yes.
home? Okay. I'd like to draw your attention to sometime in the evening on your way home from work. Did anything unusual happen at that time?
Yes, as I was driving home, I heard gunshots.
Okay,
Which was
and
unusual.
you say you heard gunshots, so were they, do you know what a gunshot sounds like?
Yes.
Had you known before that time?
Yes.
How is that?
It was just like bang, 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 bang. I mean, it was quite loud.
And you're familiar
Yes.
with a gunshot?
Yes.
Okay. And where were you approximately when you heard
It was
that?
approximately south of Loon Lake Road. I believe that's the
And
road.
which way were you traveling in Wixom?
I was heading north.
You should ask to
May
approach
I
the
approach
witness,
her?
counsel.
Sorry about that.
Go ahead.
Could you point out
Again, if you could conduct your examination
sorry.
back at the lectern, please.
over to the side of the courtroom, you'll notice there's a map. And there's a blow-up of Wixom Road. Number one, it constitutes the area where we believe you were located at that time. Is that correct?
That looks approximate. I can't see where the light is there at Loon. Is that
Well, it's not that close. It's not that much of a blow-up that you wouldn't be able to see.
Okay.
The light. But do you see? Could you point at number one with your laser and point there? Is that approximately where you were when you
Yeah.
heard the gunshot?
Yeah, approximately.
Okay. And did you feel anything, do anything? What occurred after you heard those?
No, I had heard the gunshots, and it's a little bit wooded there. It's before you come up to the intersection. There was some trees on both sides, and I honestly never in my wildest dreams would I think somebody was shooting at me. I thought that it was probably kids shooting a gun or something close by, and I just went home.
Could you explain what that intersection looks like? How many lanes there are, and if there's a light?
There's a light there, and there's a turn lane, so it was prior to the turn lane, and there's a gas station. It's a three-way, so it's Wixom Road and then Loon. It goes across, but it goes into the gas station there.
Oh, I see. So, and so there's two lanes of travel with a left turn lane on Wixom going north?
There's a left turn lane, I believe, going north and south in that intersection.
Okay. And where were you with regard to the intersection when you heard the noise?
I wasn't there yet. It was before, because there's a strip plaza. It was before the strip plaza started, so it was in the area of the wooded greenery area before the plaza started.
Did you notice any cars coming the opposite way?
Yeah, there were cars. I mean, it's the road, so yeah.
There was traffic coming south?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And after you heard the noise, what did you do?
I thought, oh, that sounded like gunshots, and I just drove home and went home, and I told my husband that I had heard gunshots, and that was about it.
Okay, were you alone in the car?
Yes.
Did you discover anything later on that day or the next day?
I pulled in my garage, backed in, I got out, I went in, got up the next morning, and went to get in my car. When I turned my car on, the sensor on the dash said that I had a low front tire on the driver's side.
So the low pressure, the
Yep.
tire pressure indicator?
So I got out and I looked, and I'm like, it was totally flat. So I went back in and I told my husband that I was taking his vehicle, that my tire was flat. And he had to figure it out.
Okay. So you took his vehicle and you went to work?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And what did he do, if you know?
That would have been on Wednesday morning. He took the tire off of my car, and I drive that car in the summertime, so he put it in my car that I drive in the wintertime. And when he was telling me that he took it off and put it there so I could take it, get it repaired, he said, you know, I heard something in there, in the tire, and I still didn't really think about it. I thought I probably drove over a bolt or something and it went through. So that was in my car, my rendezvous on Wednesday. And Thursday when I went to work, I had heard about the shootings because I had told my friends at work that I had heard shootings, heard the gunshot. So they told me that there were shootings, so I took the tire then to Bell Tire.
That was on the following day?
Yeah, on Thursday.
On Thursday. So you took it over to Bell Tire. Where is Bell Tire located over there?
I'm not sure the name of the
In
road.
the city of Wixom?
No, it's over by the Walmart. I'm not familiar with that area.
Oh, okay. That's okay. It was in Oakland County.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Okay. And were you there did you talk to the man who took care of your tire?
Yeah, I told him at that point then when I started putting it all together that I thought maybe there was a bullet in my tire, and he thought I was crazy. So I said, can we just figure out where the hole's at? So when he filled it with air and dunked it, I was there with him, and it just was pouring out of the side of the side wall of the tire.
Did you observe anything besides bubbles coming up? Did you see a hole or anything?
You could kind of see where it was split a little bit once the bubbles were coming out, but I couldn't really see anything other than prior to that. So we had to take the tire off the wheel, and when we did that, we saw the bullet inside.
Okay, were you there when he took the tire off? Were you able to see the bullet inside?
Mm-hmm.
And what did you do after that?
He reached down and grabbed it and handed it to me, and I said, okay. So then I took the tire, the wheel, and the bullet, and I went directly to the police station.
I'm going to show you what's been admitted as people's exhibit 3 that appeared to be the tire, your tire. You took it to the Wixom Police Station. Did you speak with anybody there?
Officer Ron. Yeah.
Sergeant Moore?
Sergeant Moore, yes.
And did you bring the bullet with you?
Mm-hmm.
May I approach the room?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you what's been marked People's Exhibit number 24.
If you could please not talk.
I know.
between the lectern and the window. I know it's a natural inclination. Most courtrooms you can do it.
Can I take this out and look at it?
Wait for a question by counsel.
Inside of that envelope, there's pieces of, do you know what those are?
Yeah?
Does that look familiar?
Yes.
Are those the pieces that came out of your tire?
Yes.
Are those the pieces that you delivered to Detective Sergeant Moore?
Yes.
May I approach you?
Go ahead.
May I publish this to the jury?
Go ahead.
Now, once you were aware that you had been shot at, did you do any other discovery in your vehicle?
I was asked if there was any damage left done to my vehicle, and I had to go home and check because at that point, prior to that, I only thought I had a flat tire. So once I got home, I went in the garage and I looked at it, and I found like chips out of around my tire, around my wheel well, and also a chip out of my wheel. There was a chip out of my wheel.
Actual wheel? What tire was this?
It was the front driver's side tire.
After this occurred, did you change your route of travel?
I did in the beginning, until I had heard that it wasn't just isolated to Wixom Road, and at that point I thought, it doesn't matter where I'm driving at this point.
How did it make you feel once you realized you'd been shot at?
I was very upset, very scared, I never imagined it, and there's not a week that goes by that I don't think about that.
Do you have children?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, and he was not, you have a son, right?
Yes.
He was not in the car at the time?
No.
How did you feel driving him around after this occurred?
Obviously you're nervous. You pay attention a lot more. Obviously, I'm more aware of sounds and what's going on, and try to be aware of my surroundings if anything occurs again.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Any cross-examination, counsel? Thank you, Judge.
Good afternoon, Ms. Meyer.
Hi.
My name is Doug Volkoff. I'm one of the lawyers representing Mr. Castile. I need to ask you some questions. That's my job.
Okay.
I appreciate the seriousness of what happened to you, and I'm sorry you had to go through that. I want to ask you, just to clarify the testimony you gave, the tire of your vehicle had a bullet found in it.
Correct.
Do you know if you have 15-inch tires or 16-inch tires on that Camaro, or don't know?
You know what? I think they're 21s,
21-inch?
but I'm not positive on that.
And because tires move around in a circle as they're going down to the road, it's really impossible when looking at your flat tire in your garage the next day to know whether that place where the hole was almost touching the pavement, or whether it was in the middle, but it was somewhere on your tire.
Correct.
The testimony that you gave a minute ago, and that's the front driver's side tire,
Correct.
you didn't see a person waving a gun or pointing it in your direction.
No, it was dark.
It was dark, you heard successive shots,
Mm-hmm.
and then you didn't hear any more shots.
Correct.
You told the prosecutor that the next day you went to the Bell Tire outlet near Walmart,
Yes.
and I want to ask you if you may have made a mistake in your testimony, and is it possible you took it to the discount tire?
It could be the discount tire,
as
yes.
you told the police in an earlier account.
Yes, I'm sorry.
So that's all right. It was a mistake in your testimony today. The original statement you made to the police that it was taken to discount tire was the correct testimony.
And I received a card from the gentleman who helped me there also, a business card.
And that would be Dave Serati.
It could be, I don't remember his name, but it was a business card that I turned in when I turned in the bullet and the tire.
Thank you for your testimony.
Redirect. Go ahead and step down if you are excused. You call your next witness.
Call Mr. Paul Gustafson.
I would expect that after this witness, we would take our break.
After my question,
Break. Go ahead. Sir, if you could step forward to the witness stand out to my left-hand side. Once you're there, if you could remain standing and raise your right hand to take an oath, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give in the matter before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Go ahead and have a seat. Make yourself comfortable. Sir, if you could tell me your name and spell your last name for the record, please.
My name is Paul Gustafson, Gustafson.
Would you like any water, sir?
I'm okay for now, thank you. Sorry, just nervous.
Go ahead, counsel.
Sir, I want to direct your attention back to mid-October of 2012, that time frame. Right? Specifically October 16th, or maybe on October 16th, can you tell the jury where you were living?
Sure.
Just the city you were living in.
Sure, I was living in the city of Wixom.
You have to keep your voice
The
up.
city of Wixom.
Did you have family members there?
Yes, I did.
Were you visiting? Were they visiting you?
Actually, my parents are retired, living in North Dakota, and they were visiting myself and my 2 children.
When did they come in?
The day before.
2015?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Did you have a motor vehicle you were driving that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did, sir.
You keep that voice up.
Yes, I did.
All right. Was it your car?
No, it was not. It was a rental car.
What type of car?
I believe it was a minivan.
Why'd you have a minivan?
Wrecked my car the day before.
Did they have a spare tire?
No, they did not, unfortunately.
So you said that your parents came up?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. We're recording the proceedings, sir, so you'll need to give a verbal response. Yes or no?
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
How old are your parents?
They're in their late 60s.
Everybody in good shape? Or?
Yeah, good health, absolutely.
How
Good
about
people.
mom?
Very good health as well. My mom is handicapped, but good
No
health.
way.
She had a boating accident about 15, 16 years ago, which severely injured her ankle, so she uses a cane and a wheelchair.
Children?
Yes, I have 2 children.
Give me their age.
I've got a 12-year-old son and an 8-year-old daughter.
Okay, I want to direct your attention October 16th of 2012 at around 7:14 in the evening. Kind of acclimate yourself to that? You know where that of that
Yes, sir.
time frame? Do you have a good idea what you were doing around that time?
Absolutely.
All right, let's go through it.
At about that time, I was eating with my parents, who obviously were visiting from out of town. I was visiting with my parents and my children at Alex's Pizza, just having a good dinner in downtown Wixom. And after the dinner, we decided to leave and take my parents to Proud Lake State Park, as they had an RV and we were taking them home for the evening.
What route did you take?
Wixom Road, going northbound.
I'm going to put the kind of right there, put a green dot in, and see number 2 in there? That area right there?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
All right. I want you to keep that in mind right now. All right, so you're going on Whitson, yes?
Yes, sir.
Anybody in the car with you?
Yes. My mother was in the passenger seat, as she's physically handicapped and needed the room.
Front or back?
Passenger side front. My father and my son my daughter and my father, were in the second tier of seating, and my son was in the very back seating.
Can you describe the seating arrangements in this van you had?
Yes, sir. In the minivan, it's got a passenger and driver seat in the very first set of seats, and it's got a middle set of seats of 2, and then it's got a back, I believe it's a bench.
So, Mom is in
Passenger next to me in the front tier.
yeah, behind you,
Yes, sir.
and son or daughter behind.
Daughter, as she had a child seat, a booster seat at that time.
How old was she?
She was 7.
And the son,
He would have been 11 at the time.
he was sitting in the last.
In the last tier of seating, in the very back.
All right. So you're driving,
Yes, sir.
and where were you going?
Just going northbound on Wixom Road towards Proud Lake to drop off my parents for the evening.
Anything that strange happened right around 7:14 thereabouts?
Yes, sir.
Tell it, step by step, tell the jury, please.
At about 7:14 p.m., I was just driving northbound, taking my parents back to their RV, and I heard back to their RV,
Where were they
Proud Lake State Park, and I heard a very, very large bang, and I had no idea what it was. I thought I'd blown a tire.
Did you, at this point, lose control of the vehicle at all?
Yeah. Yes, sir, absolutely.
Tell the jury about that.
After I heard the bang, I instantly thought I blew a tire as I started losing control of the vehicle, started swerving towards the oncoming traffic.
You had four people with you side by side yourself.
Yes, sir.
All right, good.
And was able to get it under control by braking, and pulled over immediately to the side of the road to get out of traffic. And immediately thereafter, there was another person who pulled up immediately behind us and ran out of her car screaming, "Is everybody okay? Is everybody okay?" And I said, "Yeah, why?" And she exclaimed that she saw a gun out a window and a flash from a gun, and told us that we had been shot at, and it was just shock.
What did you do when you heard that?
Panic, fright, fear. I knew I was okay, and I knew my mom was okay. I didn't, bother to look and see if anybody else in the vehicle was safe. I just, wanted to see if we had a flat tire that would have blown, and I was panicked for my family.
Did you find anything? Did you go outside or pull over, take a look-see?
Yes, sir. As soon as I got out of the vehicle, and the lady had informed us about the viewing of the gun and the flash, I immediately started looking around the vehicle to see if there's any damage to the doors or windows or any tires, etc. And
Concerned about the safety of your kids?
absolutely, I was absolutely concerned about the safety of my children. I did not see any damage to the vehicle, and immediately grabbed, because I was going around the vehicle very fast, trying to see if I could see anything with the headlights from the car that had stopped behind me. And based on what she had said about us being shot at, I grabbed my cell phone and immediately dialed 911 and told them that I believed we had been shot at.
Yeah, I'll go back to where it said number 2. Are you familiar with this area?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Right there, would that be the approximate point as to where, and I'm not looking for a specific, but just the approximate area where your vehicle was shot at?
While I can't read the street names, it was approximately half a block from Charms and Wixom intersection.
Call the police.
Yes, sir. I called 911, which obviously connects with the police.
What happened?
They immediately dispatched officers to the scene. I would guess, between 2 and 3 cars arrived within just a matter of a few minutes, and throughout the rest of the evening, maybe 10, 12 officer vehicles had shown up, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. I need to back up a little bit. After the first officer or two had taken a look at our vehicle, they could not see any identifiable damage on the vehicle. They asked me to cross over from the right-hand side, which is where I was parked at with my tire completely flat, across Wixom Road into the CVS parking lot, which was, I guess, if the number 2 were to be where the shot would have occurred and I pulled over, it would be immediately to the left of the number 2, which would be a little strip mall where CVS parking lot was. And they proceeded to look to find if they could see any damage to the vehicle whatsoever.
How many?
For approximately 45 minutes or so. It could have been much longer. I'm sorry, I was kind of in a daze as far as timing. We did not see any damage to the vehicle whatsoever.
What happened then?
When we began to look to see if we could change the tire, because the officers didn't obviously see any damage to the vehicle, we began to look for the spare tire to the minivan, and we didn't have enough light underneath the vehicle to see where the spare tire would be, so we asked one of the officers if he would allow us to use his flashlight, and as we shone it underneath the vehicle looking for the spare tire, we saw that underneath my tire, the driver's side front, there was like an exit wound coming through the rim of the tire. At that point, they indicated that we'd been shot at.
All right, now, sir, I'm going to walk up to you, and I'm going to show you what I marked as Exhibit 4A. All right, I just want you to take a look at it first, okay? I approach the witness, Your Honor. Go ahead.
That is the tire and the rim and the damage that was done.
What tire was it?
The driver's side front.
So I'm clear what this picture is showing. This is after the tire has been dismounted,
Yes, sir.
and you're actually looking at the inside rather than what would be the outside of the tire.
That is correct, Your Honor.
As you had indicated, it was an exit. Well, an exit hole.
An exit wound was best word for description.
Just so we're all sure, and I'm sure we all see it, but let's put it on the way there. And this is a close-up of this one. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
What happened to the tire after that?
Because I did not have a spare tire to reclaim the vehicle, the entire vehicle was confiscated by the Wixom Police Department as evidence.
Do you know whether or not the tire was taken into evidence?
I was told later on that it was taken into evidence and the vehicle was released back to the rental company.
All right, sir, what I want to ask now is, well, how long did that take altogether, do you think?
Several hours from the time of hearing the bang through when we were actually released.
How was your kid react?
They were absolutely mortified, as my parents were. I grew up in rural Montana, and violence against people was pretty much unheard of. So for them to be in town and hear that we were actually shot at, and my children, were just mortified, frightened, fearful.
How scared was your kids?
So bad so that they did not want to go to school. My son is I'm nervous. My son goes to Sarah Banks Middle School, which is on Wixom Road, about 2-3 blocks away from the incident itself. He did not want to go to school, did not want to be on the road. My daughter didn't want to be in vehicles. They were tearful, frightened, nightmares, vomiting, fear of people. Anytime they would hear a loud noise of any kind, they thought they were getting shot at. It was so bad that my daughter had even drawn a picture of what she imagined the scenario would have been. She had a road, and I apologize, I looked for it, but I couldn't find it. A picture of our vehicle. She would even little picture Dad and Grandpa, Grandma, and everybody.
I think when you say that again.
A picture of herself and me and everybody else. She put little names, Grandpa, Grandma, brother and Dad, etc. And a picture of our vehicle. And then she had a picture of an oncoming vehicle, and she put bad guy, and she had a gun that looked like an arm, and little dashes as if the dot. And then she drew a big explosion, like bang, with yellow and red crayons, and they were just absolutely devastated as children. Being 7 and 11. I mean, who shoots at kids?
You said they had nightmares. How long do those nightmares last, or are they still ongoing?
They were for months. I mean, they've gradually been able to cope and understand, but they still ask about loud noises. And my daughters, they're a year older now, but they're still very worried. Is somebody going to shoot at us and hurt us, Daddy? And why did it happen? And why would they do this to us? And,
you still have that fear?
Yeah, absolutely.
How about you?
I'm fearful, but I'm not as terrified as I was at the time. I did not reason. How do you fathom why someone would just shoot you when you're just driving casually on a road, taking your family to a safe place?
If you're driving, would it be fair to say you were unaware that he had a gun in his hand?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, who's looking out the window or observing how other drivers are? Are they going to shoot at you? After the shooting, I apologize if I may elaborate.
Oh,
I was absolutely panicked, looking at every car. If is somebody going to shoot me? Avoiding Wixom Road myself, and as other roads were involved, avoiding those, and it was just it was a nightmare scenario.
And for you, is it still continuing, or?
No. Once we realized that there had been an arrest, there was a significant amount of release and relief of anxiety. I do realize that there are situations out there that I don't want to be involved in, and I'm not as fearful anymore, but it could happen again.
Okay, up to the point in time the defendant was apprehended, can you tell me, did you avoid areas? Did you avoid certain roads? Did you alter your major driving routes and habits?
Absolutely. I would not, we would try not to leave the house at all. Once we got home, we would stay home, stay locked. If we were out, we would avoid, obviously Wixom Road, because we were terrified of Wixom Road, and became terrified of I-96 and other places, and we would try not to go anywhere. Just basically cocooning in place and trying to be safe and secure.
Now, are you married?
I am divorced by choice.
You're divorced, did you say?
Yes, I am.
And did your ex-wife hear about this, or did you talk to her about this?
Yes, approximately 45 minutes to 50 minutes after the actual incident, after we'd already had our vehicle moved over into the CVS parking lot, I made a call to my ex-wife to let her know that we had been shot at. And
I don't want you to get into what she said or anything like that.
Sure.
You just indicate to me, was she concerned about what had happened?
Terrified.
Was there a point in time that you considered bringing the children to your ex-wife's?
No.
Did you talk to other people about what had happened in the area, the neighbors, or anything of that nature, friends?
Absolutely. For it would seem like forever after the incident, talking to neighbors that live in an apartment complex in Wixom, young ladies, elderly men, I mean everybody in between. Everybody was absolutely shocked, mortified, scared, and pretty much everybody was avoiding, driving. Everybody was talking about the scenario and worried whether they were going to be safe, and cocooning in place, just like our family was doing at the time.
And now your children at the time, were they into any type of sports or anything of that nature?
Yes, sir.
You know whether or not any of that was disrupted as a result of these circumstances?
We avoided taking them to a few of their classes so that we could not be on the roads and keep them out of harm's way.
Do you know whether or not, what school they go to?
Loon Lake Elementary for my daughter and Sarah Banks Middle School for my son.
Do you know whether, only if you know, do you know whether or not those schools were locked down at all?
Absolutely, they were, sir. From, I believe, the very next day, the very next school day, the schools were locked down. Officers were on the premises, patrolling Wixom Road and Loon Lake Road, and
You level police officers on the road, did you?
absolutely, there were police officers all over the place, and we absolutely had to have them there to make sure that we were safe, and that if there was something that would occur, they would be immediately there to apprehend. And I'm grateful that they were there.
May I have one moment, please? I have no further questions at this time.
Any cross-examination?
Good afternoon, Mr. Gustafson.
Good afternoon.
My name is Doug Malkoff. I'm one of the lawyers representing Raleigh Castile, and it's my job to ask you some questions. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry you had to endure what you did that you just described, and it sounds like it was very frightening. It didn't make any sense to you, did it?
Not at all, sir.
It was baffling, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
You said a minute ago, who shoots at kids? Is that what you were thinking afterwards?
Yes, sir. And who shoots at just average people? That
Anyone.
anyone?
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yes.
Illogical, isn't it?
Yes.
What could be accomplished by shooting at you or any other car that you can think of? Anything?
No, sir.
No other questions, John?
Any redirect?
Here's the problem. Obviously, you don't know what he's thinking when he's shooting at cars, do you?
I would not know why anybody would shoot at cars now.
You've heard and seen things throughout the years, things of people killing people, murder.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
That seems kind of illogical too, don't it? But yet it happens, doesn't it?
Every crime is illogical, yes, sir.
Seems like it's crazy to walk into a store and rob it with a gun.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
So there's a lot of things, again, you don't know what he's thinking or he's not thinking, or why he's doing what he's doing.
I would not know why any criminal does what they do.
That's anything. All you can tell us is that you and your family were shot at.
Yes, sir.
Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely, sir.
And nothing further.
Mr. Volkov, anything else, sir?
The follow-up. The prosecutor just asked you about an example where somebody walks into a store with a gun to rob the store. And can you, thinking about his example, about someone with a gun going into a store to rob it, what the person might hope to accomplish by doing that?
I would have no idea what's going on in another human's mind.
Well, does it seem possible that they may want to get money or something of value in a robbery?
It could, or maybe they just want to kill somebody that's in the building. I don't have any idea why they would be there.
Well, if it's a robbery, as the prosecutor suggested, a robbery, then doesn't it seem the motive would be obvious to rob?
I'll object at this time. I think that question's been asked and answered by the witness.
Mr. Volkov?
He opened the door with this question. I'd like to
And that's why
get an answer.
That's why I didn't object to the first couple of questions on redirect. But when he asked the question and the witness answered it, that's an answer. Keep on.
Mr. Volkov is trying to get to the answer that he wants. I believe it is appropriate. The door was open. I don't think he's badgering the witness. It has been asked and answered. But I think what Mr. Volkov is suggesting is there may be another answer. He's searching for that answer. So I'll allow it at this time.
Sir, Mr. Gustafson, does it seem, however, illegal and unlawful that the object of a robbery would be to take something of value from another person?
If that was the intent of the robbery, yes.
with respect to someone shooting at the tire of a vehicle like yours, can you think of any logical goal that would be accomplished comparable to the robbery where someone has a logical goal?
Wait, sir. Go ahead. Objection is to speculation. He's asking the witness to speculate on why somebody would do something like that.
Response?
If he can answer it, he can. If he doesn't have, if he can answer without speculating, so be it.
It's pure speculation, I think that.
Mr. Gustafson, you can take it from your perspective.
I apologize.
You wouldn't be speculating regarding your perspective. Go ahead.
Could you restate the question? I apologize.
I'll try to. From your perspective, can you think of any goal that could be accomplished by shooting at a tire of a car like yours?
The only thing that would make somewhat sense to me would be that I'd made a few things that I'd made that driver angry, and it was a cause of road rage, or the person was trying to harm me,
Okay.
or that the person wanted me to lose control of my vehicle by shooting the tire. And
Okay, let me follow up on those. Did you drive in a way that you believe caused, that was erratic or might have caused someone that you can recall to perceive you as being a bad or dangerous driver?
I don't object to the question if he was driving directly to him, that he's driving recklessly. Obviously, he can testify that. Again, it's speculation as to him giving an opinion or testimony to what somebody else is thinking.
Response?
I thought the question I was asking was whether he remembers himself driving in a way that was bad.
I don't have a problem.
That's my question.
The question as you rephrased it is appropriate. The question is asked, did it call for speculation?
I would withdraw the offensive question. Do you remember yourself driving badly?
No, I do not. Just with the normal flow of traffic, driving safely as my most precious cargo is in the vehicle with me.
Understood. Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Townsend? No. Mr. Gustafson, thank you for coming in today. You are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The jury room, we will go ahead and take a recess at this time. We'll take about 10 minutes. About 25 after, as expected, at 25 to 4, 3:35, we would all be ready to be able to come back in here to the again, during the break, do not share your notes. Keep them personal and confidential, and do not review or discuss the case whatsoever. Thank you. All rise for the jury. You may be seated. We are outside the presence of the jury. Counsel, do you have anything before we take recess?
Nothing on behalf of the people.
No, Judge.
Mr. Townsend, would you expect your other witnesses to length of their testimony to be similar to what we're experiencing here
I
today?
do, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right.
Let's go ahead and open up the doors.